AITAH for telling my old boss I don't believe in loyalty and that it's unreasonable to expect me not to quit for a better paying job? Posted by you/ta salary. Worked at my first job for 6 years. They trained me from the ground up on everything. I had a great boss, fought for my promotions, etc. In those 6 years, my salary doubled. Got an offer from a more prestigious company with better growth opportunities and double the salary. We're talking substantial money, $120K versus $250K. I quit without thinking twice and thought it was more respectful not to ask my old boss to use any of his political capital to get me a match. He couldn't. Part of my new compensation is stock in the new company, and the salary is likely more than his pay. So I simply gave him my notice and explained my transition plan. Boss was truly devastated and very, very angry. We both stayed professional throughout the discussion, but it got heated, and he questioned my loyalty as if it were a character flaw. I said my view is I paid him and the company back with my hard work, so we're at the very least even. Arguably, they got a bargain deal because I could have jumped ship for more money 2 years ago. Didn't say this last sentence out loud. Should I have handled any of this differently? My wife and some friends say I'm being rather cold and calculating. They think I should have shown more loyalty since the company gave me so much. I think it's disrespectful to assume I didn't give them anything less than enough in return. I know my worth and my contribution to the company's bottom line. I've seen people walked out the door after 2 decades with a pink slip, and no one shed a tear the morning after. I respect my old boss, but what the hell is loyalty to your job supposed to even mean? Top/relevant comments. Commenter. I've seen people walked out the door after 2 decades with a pink slip. Yep, and your boss would have happily done this with you as well. You're talking about more than doubling your salary, and you usually only get that type of bump when you switch employers. My take is, if they wanted to keep you, they should have kept your salary competitive the whole time. I hope you did your due diligence though. More money doesn't necessarily make it a better place to work. Ops response. Thanks. In all fairness, I know for a fact my old boss would have fought for me, but I agree, if it was between him and me, for example, I'm the one walking out the door. So I take the same approach. I'll put my family and our financial stability over him every day. The opportunity was too good to pass on either way. I'm fortunate to mostly like my new team, but I was offered a job with a fang of my profession, so even if I need to be absolutely miserable here for 2 years and then jump ship, it's worth it to pad the resume. Don't think I'll need to do the jump, though. Commenter 2. I actually don't think you were cold. I have myself, and friends, acted more grateful when giving notice even when it's totally untrue. Perhaps on your part, as you describe a great boss, you could have added how much you enjoyed working with him and will miss him/the team, but equally, that can be reserved for your leaving party and isn't obligatory. The resignation meeting is usually just formal and businesslike, as you were. As you said about pink slips, businesses tend to appreciate you when you're more beneficial for them, but when you aren't anymore it's don't let the door bump you on the way out. So please don't feel bad for being calculating. It's not calculating to look out for number one when the business will do the same, nice manager or not. It's pragmatic. If you'd like to smooth things over with the old boss, then invite him for a drink or something. He'll have calmed down by now. If he hasn't, then you tried, and he's behaving like a child. Just because you train someone doesn't mean you own them. Hope the new job treats you well. Ops response. Thank you, lots of good points. I was obviously very direct about how much I appreciated his support and my team/company over the past few years. I'll follow your advice about taking him out for a couple of, socially distant, drinks. I have no ill will toward him and hope we can rebuild at least a part of that relationship. As others have pointed out, I could have handled certain aspects better, so maybe I will get a chance to explain to him why I thought a clean cut was actually more respectful of him in this instance, even if I was wrong at the end of the day. Commenter 3. Info, did you just quit immediately, or did you do the responsible and professional thing of putting in your 2-week notice? Because it can sometimes be pretty hard to find a suitable replacement for a highly trained position, especially since you mentioned they trained you from the ground up. Not giving your workplace a heads up about you leaving is just rude. My overall thought towards that is, why make someone's life harder than it needs to be? Ops response. Of course I put in a notice, otherwise, I'd have no question in my mind I'm being a jerk. I do think it's superfluous at best to hand it in, to be honest. They won't be able to find a replacement in a few months, at least. And all my manuals were written ages ago. It's more about my skill set and quality of work. Someone external coming in with a comparable skill set will ask for $170K to $200K at the very least. Update 3 weeks later. Probably a bit mundane, but some folks wanted an update. Took my old boss out for a beer to avoid burning that bridge, as some of you suggested. We both had a great time. A couple of months helped us cool off, and getting together turned into a lot of reminiscing about the good old times. It also got us talking even more frankly about things that would be viewed as too political if we were still employed by the same company. I think I may have kept my mentor in my life after all. I apologized for perhaps ending things with my old job too abruptly. He said I couldn't have left at a worse time, but then again, there was no better or worse time to lose me, and to not sweat it. He said he understands why I took the job, respects my reasoning for trying to protect him from using up the goodwill he built to save me as an employee / get me a match, and that giving him an earlier heads up might have given him more time to find a replacement, but it didn't make a huge difference at the end of the day. It's all water under the bridge now. The company already hired my replacement for about 25% more than I was paid. He didn't disclose the exact amount, but that was the implication. He was blunt that I wouldn't have gotten that much even with the offer I had. He also said his priorities in life are very different, and he's happy where he is due to personal reasons and work-life perks, but that I need to seek what is the right answer for me. Said he'd be happy to work with me again if an opportunity presents itself, and I echo that sentiment. Who knows, we may end up on the same team one way or another. A few things I took away from the Reddit discussion and our talk with the old boss. 1. Look out for yourself. Your company is not the same thing as your boss. There are structural obstacles to fight against, and being loyal to one person doesn't mean the company as a whole feels that way about you. I don't regret my choice. 2. Be good to people who were good to you and do right by them, if that doesn't go against number 1. I wasn't a jerk in my final interview and thanked my old boss profusely. It made a difference, but obviously, he was still upset in the moment. Which leads me to number 3. 3. People are people. They are imperfect and have lapses of judgment. If you see them as such, you will find it easier to move on and move up in your professional life. Good luck to you all, and thanks again for your input. Sometimes, consulting Reddit does put a good spin on a trivial story. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Good ending for you. It's superfluous to say at this point, but you are not the jerk. Perhaps your ex-boss reconsidered burning his bridges with you, happy as he may be with his current situation. Things change on a dime these days, and he might end up with you as a boss someday. I can't pinpoint when in history loyalty became an entitlement for some people. Your ex-boss certainly did not start his working career in the position or at the pay he now holds, so why did he expect you to do so? Loyalty is earned and therefore two-way. It also needs to be continuously earned, just as superiors expect underlings to do. From your update, what made him mad is that he had to pay your replacement, new to the role, significantly more than he was paying you, which shows he and the company were taking advantage of your loyalty, not rewarding it with loyalty to you. It was a bad time for him and the company for you to leave, no mention of how leaving would impact you, good or bad. You already knew it would be good for you. Funny how it's just business until you don't get what you feel you are entitled to from someone. Frankly, anyone who negatively pulls the loyalty card that way shows how little they deserve any loyalty. Like you, I learned that from a toxic employer, but was on the short end of the lesson in that transaction. When I finally managed to get a new position, I was offered, right out of the gate, 65% more than my asking rate. My new employer was gently showing me how much I had been taken advantage of by the staff there, who were more concerned with reserving pay raises for themselves than being honest or fair. Your trinity of rules are good ones to operate by, and you should never totally rely on others to do right. You can expect them to be fair and above board, but don't hang everything on it. No successful company I know has ever stayed open on such a business model. Ops response. I think it's a lot more complicated than that, honestly. My boss doesn't care much about how much extra he had to pay the new guy. The salary bands are set up by HR, and his budget is approved by his boss's boss. He recognizes that market conditions push the company to increase the upper band to get anyone remotely qualified to fill my shoes. But it's all a bit abstract, the cash isn't coming out of his pocket, if that makes sense? Just pointing these things out because I cut out a bunch of fluff, but he's a good dude. And while his job requires him to tend to corporate interests first, I don't have any hard feelings.